Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In the previous video, we talked about why research topics fail. In this video, I want to address a deeper issue: why many researchers who have read extensively still struggle to justify their work. The problem is a confusion between a research gap and a research problem. And also, many research papers fail not because the gap is weak, but because the gap was mistaken for a problem. So let's try to know about research problem and a research gap better. Many researchers assume identifying a gap automatically justifies a study. It doesn't. A gap and a problem are related, but they are not the same thing. And confusing them weakens research at every stage. A research gap refers to something that has not been studied, has been underexplored, or has been examined in a limited way. Gaps are discovered by reading the literature carefully. They tell us where research is missing, but not why it must be done. Gaps feel convincing because academia rewards novelty. When we say this has not been studied, it sounds important, but novelty alone does not create contribution. Not everything that is missing matters. Reviewers, supervisors don't ask only whether something is absent. They ask whether that absence creates a problem for theory, evidence, or practice. So, a research problem exists when the existing explanations fail. It identifies a tension, inconsistency, or limitation that has consequences. The problem explains why the gap is not just missing but problematic. A gap points to an absence, a problem points to a failure of understanding. Only problems justify research. Let's take an example. This particular example is a gap. It tells us something hasn't been studied much, but it does not explain why existing theories are insufficient. What breaks down if we ignore this context? Here we have a problem. The issue is not the context, it's a failure of explanation. This invites theory, method, and most significantly, contribution. A useful way to move forward is to ask, what breaks down because this gap exists? Who or what is affected? What do we misunderstand if this remains unexplored? And hence we have to mitigate the common mistakes. Many weak studies rely on context alone or confuse a method limitation with a research problem. A problem must exist independently of your dataset. Finally, a research gap tells you where to look. A research problem tells you why you must look. And with that, in the next video, we will build on this by discussing how to frame research questions that actually lead to contribution. So until then, think, design, publish.